Welcome everybody to 90 Day Fiancé Fridays on a Sunday to discuss tonight's 90 Days season 11 episode with George and Gina. How is everyone doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everyone?
I'm good. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a nice second win considering we're starting late at night.
Yeah, this is late, y'all. But it was not a Tom Cruise show tonight. So
That's going to be your catch line for every
I know. I'm gonna
episode.
say that. I remember the first time I ever heard. I was at Good Morning America in New York, and I was in the audience that day, and I was all excited. I was like pumped, and they were like, "Oh, y'all ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah!" And they're like, "You can tone it down, sir. It is not a Tom Cruise show." They're like, "You are not gonna know who any of the people are today." And I was like, "Damn."
True. And then remind me, like at the end of the episode, we could also talk a little bit about our afterthoughts of Triple X Beast.
Oh, I was just talking about that in the Patreon.
Hmm.
Yeah, we should talk about that too because I had some thoughts on that as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see. Is there a specific person tonight that like jumps out at you that you're dying to talk about?
Mm, Not really. The show was very difficult to get through. I think it really started off on the wrong foot for me when the very first faces that I saw when the show came on were the thruple.
Hmm.
So when you go to a concert, like I don't know if this has happened to you before. I went to a concert and the artist was somebody I really love, but they had like one song that I really liked, and then the rest of their music was just eh. And then as they came out, the song that I really liked started playing and they sang it, and you were like, well, damn, what am I gonna do for the next 2 hours? That's kind of how
Hmm.
I felt because when I saw that they started, and I was like, oh man, they're starting with the thruple. That means that they don't have anything good to use, right?
Hmm.
I was like, so you start out like this, it means that everything is bad from here on out. So I was like, Jesus Christ, what am I supposed to do with this? And I was like, so I was kind of already setting my level of expectation low. Like the bar was
Hmm.
pretty low already. But the throuple started out, and it was more like insulting my intelligence and their ignorance and their nonsense. And we got a little closer to the Brenda thing, but we still didn't get to the Brenda thing. So there's
Hmm.
still really no real breakthroughs in the storyline. I mean, we met Ray, who
Hmm.
he didn't look like what everybody online was like, that's not what I thought he would look like. And I was like, well, what does a pimp look like? Did they think that he was gonna come out wearing like a hat with like with a feather in it, with a purple suit? I was like, well, what do you think a pimp looks like? Also,
Like a Halloween pimp costume,
right,
basically.
I think they thought that he was gonna look like Snoop Dogg.
I
Which
mean, to me, my meme was he looked like Beetlejuice from Howard Stern.
he definitely looked not what I expected. But again, the pimp is not your boyfriend. The pimp is the guy that pimps you out. So I don't think it's like, I don't think pimps are supposed to look a certain way, right? Oh, Pineapple Girl is like, wait, who is the pimp? So my theory is the guy Ray that Matt and Amini, if you can't read, because that's what he keeps saying and it pisses me off. I think that that guy is, well, they think that it's her boyfriend or
Mhm.
ex-boyfriend. I don't think that that was her ex-boyfriend. I think that that's her pimp because they were sending money throughout the relationship to her, but it had to go in a bank account with his name on it,
Mhm.
which is kind of sketch. Because like, okay, say for instance you were in a relationship and then you broke up, you're not together anymore. You would no longer use your joint bank account, right? Because you're not together anymore. I don't see what's so difficult about opening a bank account in your name. Why would you have to like keep using his bank account unless he's taking a cut and then he gives you what's left, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't know the full story. He might have a different explanation as to why they're using the same bank account and why he knows her as Brenda and they know her as Annie. Like there might be a different explanation based on the low bar for this storyline. I don't think so. I think everything that's happened so far has been so predictable. It's almost been like watching a daytime sitcom or like a primetime sitcom where there's a problem in the beginning of the episode and they absolutely solve it by the end. Like it's very predictable.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a pimp, though, what a pimp would do is they would be in charge of, their security as far as like when they go out on escort dates, they would like hire a driver and that would like look after them.
Well, right. And oh wait, she said Brenda's a stripper name. Oh, I mean, yeah, that could be. Wait, Brenda
Mhm.
doesn't sound like a stripper name though. I feel
I
like,
feel like I feel like if you were in Tijuana and you had a Mexican stripper and she said my name Brenda, then you like, yeah, that's a fake ass stripper name.
but that doesn't even sound exciting. Like Brenda, that doesn't even sound sexy.
Yeah, yeah, but if it was like I'm a Swelu or something, or that's a guy's name. But like,
Rosa
Wouldn't it be Rosa or Anais
yeah, like if you saw that, you'd be
or
like, oh,
Maria.
that's
or
too
Maria?
close. If it was Maria, that's too close to reality.
I mean, I guess. Amberlee says, "Why not Western Union?" That was my question too. Like, if you need to send somebody money, I don't know, when you send money to another country, it's usually Western Union, right? I mean, I don't really send people in other countries money, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's Western Union, right?
They
Yeah, I
have like
mean,
MoneyGram, Western Union, and probably a whole bunch of other place like things that you can send money for that's going to be a cheaper rate than Western Union.
either way, is the assumption that Ray is rich or what?
Well, I don't know. It didn't look like he had all his teeth. I mean, I sure I couldn't tell. He might, but based on the way his mouth was looking, it didn't look like there was all teeth in there. Like I don't know, I don't know. And they also said that Ray was American, but I didn't get that. Like I got that from when he spoke, but I didn't get that from like his appearance.
Yeah, maybe he's just a guy that met her at the club and a guy that like spent a lot of money on her.
Well, right. I think that there's a lot of holes in the story, but I think it's on purpose. I think that they know who this guy is. They knew who she was. They knew she was a stripper. They know what's going on, and they're trying to sell it to us that they don't. And I think
Mhm.
their level of low end acting is making it hard to believe that because
It's cringe.
it's cringe, right? Because I was like, the level of bad acting in this is like really
Mhm.
bad. It's like the worst I've ever seen.
No, and then they're trying to make a big deal about the name, and it's like, isn't it dumb though because it's so Annie or Haney or whatever the fuck her name is, she's gonna come there and they're gonna be like, oh, hi Brenda, and then, but isn't just the proper response like, well, of course I was you know allegedly an escort slash stripper, so of course I'm gonna give them a stage name which is Brenda. Like, what's the big deal? Of that isn't that the proper
Well,
response?
yeah, if she's out with a John, do they still call it that? I don't know. If she's out with a John.
Yeah.
She's not gonna give him her passport and name and ID. She's gonna give him a fake name. So yeah, it's she's gonna be like, well, yeah, that's the name that I give people. But she was selling to them that that was her ex-boyfriend and her kids knew about him. So that's where they're like, well, if you were lying to him and your kids knew him, you're probably lying to us. But she probably is. Like I think that she's definitely in it for the money. They haven't been together that long, and they say that they've been sending her money regularly. So I think that she's definitely using them for the money that she's getting, and I don't blame her.
Yeah, I mean, just even like the scene where Matt and Annie had their little like date or whatever, it gave that energy, the vibe of their energy together without Amani is just literally like when you're out on a date with like a hooker energy, where it's like there's no like real chemistry.
Connection.
It's just strictly like sexual, like yeah, I'd fuck you energy, but it's not like I love you energy.
Yeah, I felt that way too. I
Hmm.
it was like you're on a date with an escort, and
Hmm.
she's expecting you to spend a bunch of money. That's how that was the vibe.
Yeah, like the vibe
It's a
was not.
transaction.
Yeah, it's very transactional. There's no like real romance. You could just tell like the way even like the conversation they were having was so like what's it called, like small talk conversation. It wasn't like a real conversation. It was just like stupid. They didn't have anything to talk about. Yeah, they're obviously he's attracted to her in terms of like having sex with her. That's not the problem, but that's literally all it is.
Yeah, and they're both really caught up on the fact that of who loves who more. I
Mhm.
think shows that they're not a real throuple because if that's what's really important, if it's important to you that you are being loved more than the other person in the throuple, then you're not really ready to be in a throuple. Because I think if your main focus is, well, I want her to love me more, or I want her to love me more,
Mhm.
y'all aren't ready to be in that type of relationship.
Yeah, it just proves that that type of relationship in this instance is like basically horseshit.
Well, absolutely. This whole storyline is horseshit. And speaking of horseshit, we also got into Sarper and Shekinah's storyline tonight, where
Hmm.
he's unhappy and he hates living in America and he doesn't want to deal with Shekinah because he said that Shekinah's rude. I think is what he was trying to say. He was like, "Oh, you're mean, you're rude, and you don't try to fix things with me." He kind of acts like I don't know, like a toddler. Like he has like temper tantrums where he's just like, I don't feel like I'm home and I feel like you don't care about me and da 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 and I can't get a job and blah blah blah. It's so predictable. And,
Hmm.
and I know that when she prematurely put out that tweet or that story last week, she's like, "Oh, you don't know. I don't know if Sarper and I are gonna stay together, and you have to keep watching. Everything is what it seems." I feel like she was setting up for the scenes that happened this week.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like she's like, I don't even know if I want to get married. I'm like, well, bitch, it's too late. He's already here. You know, like you're definitely gonna get married, and we know that he's been here since like 8.5 months ago or whatever. Like y'all are definitely married. Like don't pull that crap. We know that you're married.
Yeah, we know that in present day, when there's like a Hollywood event or like a public relations promotional event, you love going out with Sarper to like Hollywood promotional events. Don't even try to deny that shit.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over the whole. Actually, I was just talking to somebody about this season, and I feel like this season has
Hmm.
dropped the ball the most out of like I don't know, like I don't want to say all the seasons. Usually every season there's one couple where the casting director was clearly on their last ounce of energy and they just needed to get it done. But like I feel like this season, every single person that they cast was like a last ditch effort to just end the workday at 5 o'clock. Like everybody that they brought on the show is just a snooze fest. And it's like, yeah, in the beginning, Greg seemed interesting. They were boring tonight. And then Jessica and Juan and Megan and Herbie and everybody, they were
Hmm.
interesting. They were boring tonight. Marty and Stevie have been
They're insufferable.
they're consistently insufferable. And it's like at this point, I want to say one thing to the casting director this season. I think it's time for you to get a new job
Hmm.
because this is so bad. Like, if you can sleep at night knowing that this is what you've done, like, then this isn't for you. Like, this is the worst season I've seen in so long. And so many people have messaged me and they're like, I can't get through it. I can't get through it. It's just too difficult to get through. It's so boring. And I felt it so much tonight going
Hmm.
through the scenes because every time it went to commercial, because I was watching it on TLC Go, I was relieved so I could go on my phone because I was so bored when it was on. I literally was happy when it went to commercial so I could go check my texts because I was like,
Yeah.
this is so boring.
Yeah, like the thing that kind of shocks me is when I think I learned this. I mean, this probably wasn't news to you, but I kind of opened my eyes up a little bit more about when we interviewed Devin, and we kind of learned that I don't know how if it's the case with all the couples or whatever, but apparently, obviously, like Sharp, they have their casting director and they cast, but apparently, and they have their say, but apparently, I didn't realize like how much TLC is actually involved in the casting, where they have to give approval as well. So, like, for the point I'm trying to make though is like, so okay, Sharp, you know, gave all the cast of these people, they got all the approvals, but then TLC on top of it also looked at these same couples and approved all of them. So that's the part that shocks me is it got approved through Sharp and approved through TLC. That kind of shocks me that the TLC as a network said it didn't have any like flags to say, hey, some of these people are boring and shit.
No,
They got an intern for a casting director. That's what they did, so they can cheap out, in
it's
my opinion.
really worrisome because now that the show has hit 10 years, is going on 11, or actually it's going on 12 years old now. Like, I'm really worried. I was like, if this is the consistency that they're putting out, I'm like, how is the show going to make it much longer? You know, because
Mhm.
there's a shit ton of spinoffs. There's so much money being put into the production of all these shows. If they lose the viewership, what's going to happen? You know, like, because it's been a long time. 12 years is a long time. And it's like if they're under Warner Brothers is like their parent company now, and they're known for ditching things. If things
Mhm.
not profitable, they're known to ditch them. As soon as they signed on and bought the network, they got rid of like what 4 shows right off the bat, 4 or 5 shows. They canceled 4 or 5 TLC 90 Day Fiance shows right off the bat. So I was like, I'm wondering, you know, if this is the consistency of quality we're getting, how long is this gonna last?
Yeah, and I think as content creators, we always in the back of our minds we have to look and say, hey, where are the audiences? Because I'll give you, not to like go too much on a side path, but like back in the day, I was like I considered myself like a Howard Stern show content creator, but then I realized at some point like the Howard Stern audience is dwindling as well, because yeah, he's on Sirius, but he's been around the block so long and he kind of is getting a little played out, long in the tooth. And like I realized at some point, like, holy crap, like me being a content creator for that show was kind of hurting me, because no one really gives a fuck about the show like they used to back in the day. So it's like similarly, it's like at some point we're going to look and say, hey, where are the audiences? Because what is the most popular reality show on television? If it's getting dwarfed, if it's dwarfing 90 Day Fiance, like we as content creators, we may have to pivot at some point too.
Yeah, and that's scary because I'm very, very
Mhm.
invested. I've watched all of it. Well, I didn't watch Lauren and Alexi after the 90 days. I have standards, but everything else. I've watched it all, and it's like I'm very invested. So that worries me to think that if they consistently put out shit, like
Mhm.
where is this going to end up? Because eventually, when shows fall off, they disappear.
Mhm. Sure. All right. Well, let's go to what other whatever couples have we not talked about tonight?
Oh, so Juan and Jessica are getting married in Wyoming in the middle of winter at an outdoor venue, which is kind of crazy. And the funny part is, I was invited to the wedding. I
Hmm.
wasn't able to go, but I did hear that it was very, very cold.
Oh,
It was
do
very
you, it was outside, right?
Yes, it was an outdoor wedding. I can't remember the specific place now. I have to go get the invitation. It's somewhere upstairs.
Do you think they had it outdoors as like almost like a storyline, as far as like to annoy Juan?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know specifically if they did it on purpose. Um,
Hmm.
but I do know that the venue that they chose was not in Wyoming.
Hmm.
I want to say it was in Colorado.
Uh,
So they specific,
Still cold.
yeah, they specifically wanted that. Well, she specifically wanted that venue. I know
but
that.
like on tonight's episode where they showed them outside, that was in Colorado. They were in the look at the venue or something.
Hold on, let me see if I can find the invitation because it has the address. Because
Hmm.
I remember the airport they told me to fly into was Colorado, or I think, or specifically, I think where she lived, the closest airport was
Hmm.
Colorado. So maybe the venue is actually in Wyoming, but you can't fly into Wyoming based on where they live. I can't remember now.
Okay.
Come on,
Um,
George, get it together. You should have this on hand.
Speaking of flying, what did you think of the scene where Mina was with those like those women, and then what do they call it, like a Stitch and Bitch?
Oh, the
Bitch and Stitch.
Stitch bitches. Yeah, the Stitch
Yeah.
bitches. That's
Yeah.
funny, because it's kind of hilarious because this kind of puts into perspective the age of the guy that she's with versus, I mean, she says she's young.
Hmm.
She looks a little old to me, but she says she's young. So it was kind of like funny to see the the difference because they're like stitching and drinking and it's
Hmm.
she's supposed to be this younger person and I'm like this is the life that she chose like this is what
Oh,
The way they keep and again the way they keep featuring the neighbor with the martinis, I feel like they're almost setting her up to be like on Pillow Talk or something.
yeah it is weird that they
oh,
using her yeah I noticed that too okay
oh, I like her.
all right the venue was in Colorado but the no the venue was in Wyoming but you had to fly into Colorado
Okay,
Okay.
yeah
true. But yeah, like the martini lady, the way they keep featuring her, you think she's like going to be a major player going forward.
maybe she's
Hmm.
kind of funny I liked her I thought she
Yeah, I mean, compared to the cast members, she's probably more
Yeah,
cooler.
she was more vibrant than everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cast isn't bringing it. Oh, so one is talking about taking a job on the cruise ship.
I feel like that's just storyline or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible because okay, so Gina, if he took a job on a cruise ship, how does that work with his visa? Because the cruise ship is leaving the country, and you can't leave the country until your K1 visa is processed. So that's bullshit, right?
I would believe it would be bullshit. And plus, they're on Instagram and whatnot. They're one big happy family. So he didn't go
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yeah, and obviously he's not gonna leave his baby behind and all that bullshit. And then
All for stories because
true.
there's nothing else better to bring to the table.
Oh,
I
that's
know we're like, I know we're hopping around, but like, so what did you think of the dumb Maddie and Stevie fight about she not fully admitting that, she may like women, blah blah blah.
I mean, the way that they've made this yes or no question stretch out between 5 episodes is insane to me.
Hmm.
Like at this point, just strap her to a fucking lie detector test and ask her and get it over with. Like the way that they've drugged this question out over the whole season, I think is ridiculous. It's a yes or no question. You eating carpet or you not? Like the
Hmm.
way that they've made this such a thing.
Are you munching or not?
Well, right. Like, yes or no, are you carpet munching or not? Right. Period. Like the way that and then the way that she answers, she's just like, I'm just gonna say no. Don't say, just say yes or no. At this point, I just want them to strap her to or maybe that's what they'll do at the tell-all, strap her to a lie detector test and just ask. Because at this point, I'm on his side. I don't believe her. Because the way that she
Oh,
answers the question, I don't believe her.
Hmm. Yeah,
we
I
have
don't
to
know.
sit through a tell-all with these boring ass people too now. Oh, for
Yeah,
fuck's sakes!
it'll probably be 4 or 5 parts on top of that.
Mhm.
Oh, Jesus!
True. All right, let's just keep it moving. What did you think of my tweet when I said, quote, "Come on, Greg, you taking her to Dollar Slice Pizza? You couldn't take Joan to a nice pizza restaurant like Patsy's. What kind of real New Yorker are you?"
I don't think he's a New Yorker. I think he's a Staten Islander. I think
Yeah,
I don't
Long
think
Island.
yeah, I don't think he's a New Yorker. Because when he left Staten Island to go to New York and he brought his car,
Hmm.
like he's not a New Yorker because you wouldn't do that. You would take the train. I was like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
definitely not a New Yorker because nobody brings their car when they're only 45 minutes away. You take the train. You're not an idiot. Like, because what are you gonna do with the car? You don't once you get there, you don't need it. So that was like the first thing I was like, huh, he doesn't go to the city much because I was like, he's bringing his car with him.
Hmm.
You're only, that the whole thing that's amazing about New York is you can take the train anywhere. No,
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is like a very super minutia thing, but like for some reason it like caught my attention and it kind of annoyed me for some reason. But like, and tell me if I'm wrong in my analysis. But I found it weird where maybe it was a hotel thing, and I'm just like stupid. So I could be wrong on this, but like when he had the candles in the hotel room, but it was like those fake candles you just like turn on that aren't like real candles.
oh yeah,
And
flickering candles. Yeah.
is like, is it because he couldn't have real candles in the hotel or what? Because to me they just look cheesy.
Yeah, you can't light anything on fire in a hotel.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they all have they all have fire detectors in
Well,
the
the
Okay.
hotel
fire
room.
detectors in hotels are actually connected to the water sprinkling system,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay,
and it'll
then
cause a horrible mess. And also,
yeah.
these hotels are like 30 stories tall, so you start a fire in one of these huge
Uh,
buildings. It's like
oh no, you're
impossible.
right. Yeah, yeah. Like what's funny is I like last July when I was in New York, I was at like the world's shittiest hotel, and then but the hotel was so shitty, and I was like locked out. It's a whole long story, and I won't get into it. But like maybe I did get into it like at some point because we were podcasting then, but um I got locked out of my room twice and it wasn't my fault, but the hotel was so shitty. And then I was locked out of my room twice and then I ended up like building rapport with the maintenance guys just because I was like in a nightmare and they were doing their job they're attempting to do their job shittily for me to get back in my room, but to the point where I was locked out for so long that I started building rapport with these guys, and they'll tell me different stories like, yeah, some crazy woman, I forget the whole story, but like she started a fire. She was like a mental patient and she like started a fire on purpose and like in one of the top floors, and then it set off the sprinklers went off and then basically like flooded the hotel from like that floor, and then the water went down and they had to basically just like ruin the whole hotel. They had to re-demo, not demo, but they had to, like basically ruin the hotel. They had to like spend like million plus dollars to like redo the whole hotel.
Yeah, that
Oh God.
Yeah, that's why you can't light anything on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel. Like, I mean, I know in New York, I don't know for everywhere else, but they tell you don't you can't smoke, you can't light candles.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a thing because you can also and also in apartments too, like if it's a high-rise apartment, because this happened a lot of times where people will lose everything because one of their stupid laborers were drinking wine and knocked the wine over while they were cooking and burned the whole damn floor down. You know, you lose all your stuff too because that one idiot. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, well that answers my candle question, so I'll stand down on that one. I was curious.
well, Greg is not what's the
The
word?
sharpest tool in the
Yeah,
shed.
he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. You know, he tried to be romantic, and I think my tweet that I put out earlier, I was like, I just really don't understand what would convince any woman on the planet to want to be with Greg. Like, because I saw some people tweeting, they were like, "Oh, I think they really love each other," and I was like, or she just really doesn't want to go back to Uganda. Because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I can't imagine out of all the men in the whole freaking world, she's in love with Greg. Like you can smell Greg through the TV screen and it doesn't smell good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't smell good. It is just some horrible stench, right, Gina? Like you can just tell. You can tell that he, however much deodorant he puts,
Yeah,
not
I
enough.
just
It's not
got like goosebumps. Like it smells like a garbage dump.
And you know
Mm-hmm.
it is because his mom is not used to people showering. So you know that he doesn't shower every day. So you
Yeah.
know he has a stench. You can just tell. So it's like when I see her and I'm like, either it's really bad in Uganda or you love him, and that means your head should be checked out because I'm trying to figure out what went wrong in your life that you're in love with him and why. You know, like why? What happened to you? Who hurt you?
True. But by the way, speaking of my pizza tweet, can I do like can I elaborate on my shout out real quick?
Wait.
Um, so real quick, if you're ever in New York City, the best pizza I've ever had is a place called Patsy's, but here's a little disclaimer. So apparently there's like a Patsy's restaurant, which is just like Patsy's Italian restaurant. But then the plate, that's not where you want to go to. You want to go to like, I think it's just like Patsy's Pizzeria. You want to go to the one that says like pizzeria in the name because that's the one I would always go to. And it's like my favorite pizza in the whole city. And then the last time I was in, I don't know if it was the last time I was in New York, but there was like two locations, and I was like, I'm really close to Patsy's, and I'm farther away from Patsy's Pizzeria, but I'm really close to Patsy's restaurant. So went to Patsy's restaurant, and it's like an Italian restaurant, but it's not the pizza place. And I felt like a jackass because I went and sat down, and then I, meet the owner, and I'm like schmoozing with the chef. But then I realized, like, wait, this isn't Patsy's Pizzeria. This is Patsy's Italian restaurant. I'm at the wrong restaurant. But now that I've met the owner, I can't just get up and leave. So that happened. So make sure you go to the right Patsy's.
So wait, did you actually order food?
I ended up ordering food, but I don't even think I got pizza. But I was too deep into it to like leave.
Well, was it good?
It was good for like Italian, like regular Italian food, like pasta. I don't remember what I got, but that proves the fact that I don't remember what I got says something.
Oh, it
It was
wasn't.
I got like some pasta dish, but it wasn't the best pizza in the city that I missed out on.
Yeah, I get it. New York is confusing like that. You have to be very specific when you put stuff in
Hmm.
that you're looking for because there's a lot of things that have close names to each other. You also have to
Yeah,
put a city and zip code too, because it seems like there's things that have like the same name but in different locations too. So yeah, you got to be very careful in New York.
true. Muneca in the chat. She says, "Ooh, Patsy's Pizza is good." So yeah, I'm speaking the truth over here.
Oh, well, I've never had it. Who's so burned down? Oh no, nobody's no, I'm not saying specifically like which or whose. It's just it's happened before. None that we know of. Oh, so
Mhm.
Greg got a job in this episode. Do you believe
Mhm.
Oh, bullshit.
do you believe that he got a job or do you think that
So what my feelings were is like my feeling is he probably had the job before the storyline of him not having a job.
oh, so you think that he already applied and got the job, but it made it a more interesting storyline to make it seem like he wasn't working at the time.
Yeah, like I feel like when you get a new job, but they'll say like, yeah, well, we want you to start in like a month and a half. So if then he could pretend like he doesn't have a job, even though he landed it already. That's just my feeling.
Yeah,
I won't believe it till I see it.
Well, before he worked one single shift, he was already out spending money.
Yeah.
So that was my thing, because I was like, he's one of those people.
His mom's money. His mom's money.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming it's his mom's money, and he that was I don't want to say it was an amazing hotel, but it was a decent hotel in New York. You know, a decent hotel in New York is going to cost you $400 or $500, and you know, the second he found out he had a job, they're already out popping wine and at a hotel and eating dollar slices of pizza, like he's out living his best life. Those
Yeah.
people that never are able to come up with a down payment for a house.
Yeah, and he's opening his first ever bottle of champagne in his life.
At 37 or whatever. That's wild. He's like, I've never done this before. And I'm like, clearly, what your mom is always opening the champagne at some point, right? Clearly.
That exactly. Isn't that kind of embarrassing?
Well, yeah, yeah. Oh, I wanted to talk about that thing about the bar. So one wanted to work as a bartender in Torrington, and apparently there's only like two bars in Torrington. So
Mhm.
that's why he was saying that he wanted to go back and work on the cruise ship. So everybody online was like, well, that's actually logical, because if his profession is not going to be a job that you can get where you live, it would be logical for him to go on the cruise ship or whatever. Because, and then a lot of people were being really racist, and they were like, well, why wouldn't he just work in construction? And I was like, see, y'all are racist now. I was like,
Mhm.
that's racist. Just because he comes from Colombia or whatever doesn't mean that he has to work in construction. This man is a skilled bartender, and everybody online was like, oh, well, he can be a bartender anywhere. And I was like, well, depending on where you live, there's dry cities, there's cities that only have one bar. You know,
Mhm.
where was Devin from? Devin was from that little tiny place in Arkansas, Searcy or whatever. It's probably only two or
Mhm.
three bars in the whole place, right? So it's like, yeah, that profession is really hard.
No, Devin had said that there's a loophole now, but it is a dry county. But
Yeah, they
there's
don't.
a
Oh,
loophole
so
where
they
you
don't.
have to pay a membership
Oh, that's
or
right.
Mhm.
He
something
said if
like
you're
that.
part of a membership, you can drink. If you're not part of the membership, you can't drink. See, that's what I'm saying. Like that is very, very crazy for me, because that's his profession, and they had to have thought about that when he was moving there. Like this is what he does. You know,
Mhm.
is he going to be able to do that here? Or did she always look at it as I make enough money to take care of the whole family? I don't care what he does. Like maybe she looked at it that way too.
True. Oh, by the way, Jenny in the chat says, "Meet you at Patsy's, Shabooty." And Jenny, for sure, pizza's on me if you ever meet me there.
Wait, y'all are about to go to Patsy's? I want to go.
I hope. No.
No, it's a date. George, to stay away from that.
Oh,
Uh,
is it? Okay. Oh, wait. So Cocoa Puff was in Greg's town today, actually. So, Cocoa Puff, can you tell me a little bit about the town that Greg lives in? Like, is it nice? Is it like a neighborhood that I would see on the show Mob Wives? Or like, I want to get like a vibe for that, because I couldn't really tell. Like, their house looks decent, but it doesn't look like a castle. And usually, when I see houses in Staten Island, they look like a castle and they're inhabited by a mobster. So I was just curious, like, are they in a good neighborhood, decent neighborhood, strange neighborhood? Like, what's up with that? Well, no, I know it's Long Island, but I know that there's different there's different types of Long Island. There's the types of Long Island where mobsters live, and then there's the types of Long Island where like regular people live.
do you want me to give Cocoa Puff speaking abilities or something, or what?
Oh, if she wants to. I was just curious.
Okay. And then oh yeah, we're talking about Greg because I was gonna ask you about Juan's bachelor party if that like made your undergarments hot.
Wait, what? Did,
No, I was like,
did that
I was
air
like,
tonight? I
it,
don't remember that airing tonight.
it was in the preview at the end or whatever.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I don't even remember. So obviously,
You're like, wait, that happened?
it didn't even do nothing for me, because I was like, I don't even remember that. I remember seeing like a short clip of
Yeah, that's all I meant. I just meant like in the teaser where they
I
showed people.
remember seeing a hefty stripper, like thicker stripper for like a
Mhm.
second, and he was wearing like a Jessica shirt.
Jessica, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah, it looked okay, but you have to remember Megan's husband is the one throwing it, so it's not gonna be fun. Right? Yeah.
And plus, Megan's husband's a police officer too.
Well, yeah.
So,
Not only is he a police officer, but he's married to Megan. She's
Mhm.
like the Karen of the group, so it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
right?
By the way, Cocoa Puff and Jenny, I gave y'all speaking privileges if y'all want to talk. So we could either talk Long Island and pizza.
Oh yeah, if y'all want to like chirp in on that.
Yeah. Since it's not a Tom Cruise episode, we'll talk to our people.
I will say I will meet you, Shabooty, in New York for pizza.
True. Well, I'll definitely try to roll out the red carpet.
Unpopular opinion. I'm not like big on pizza.
Mhm.
What?
No, isn't that weird? I don't know.
Wait, what kind of pizza?
Like any. And
But have you had all kinds of pizza?
I've had Chicago deep dish. I've had New York. Yeah, I've had lots of different pizza. I'm just not big on pizza. Is that
Maybe you just need to go to Italy
No,
to
but
have good pizza
seriously, like
too.
I've had pizza in southern Italy, northern Italy. I've had pizza in Argentina. I've had pizza in Asia, pizza all over the United States. And New York is still the best.
Yeah, you got to go to Patsy's. That's
Well,
what New
yeah,
Yorkers.
maybe I haven't had the right pizza. I mean, I had New York deep dish. I couldn't even finish one piece. It was so huge.
No, yeah, no,
deep
no,
dish.
it's not no deep dish. It's like
No,
the crust is like thin, kind of.
thin,
Yeah.
thin
Oh, wait, I
crust.
mean, I was Chicago deep dish I had, and I haven't had pizzas in other countries, but I've never had pizza that I was, I have friends that will eat pizza every day, no matter what. Like they're always in the mood for pizza. I'm not that person. Like I'll go to a party, and if they only have pizza, I'll order something else because I'm
Yeah.
not like,
George, George, I'll take you to Europe. We can do a food tour.
I mean,
Oh, yes, let's go.
I would love to try all around the world pizza because it's not me, like
Well, what's your favorite food?
my favorite food. I enjoy pasta,
Hmm
like
Right.
shrimp pasta, chicken pasta. Um, I think growing up, my favorite food was spaghetti. It was all Italian, but
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just not a pizza guy. I can eat it. I'm just usually not in
Okay.
the mood for it.
No, yeah, I feel you. I mean, the only reason I don't eat it is I love it, but I don't eat it that often just because I gotta be healthy and I gotta stay svelte and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of carbs. It's a lot of carbs in it, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's definitely not good for you. But yeah.
True, but I will say my weakness is like gourmet level tacos and like fajitas
Oh
and
yeah, I do like some tacos and fajitas and quesadillas. I do like those a lot.
Mm,
yeah.
pupusas. I can really go for some pupusas right now.
I don't.
They're like an El Salvadorian taste better than a quesadilla dish. Mm.
True. It sounds like we're gonna have to do a food podcast sometime. But yeah, if you're ever in the DC area, then I could tell you what taco place to go to, which I went to tonight. But
Oh
I don't want to give them free promo.
no, they should pay. They should
Yeah.
pay and
Yeah.
send us free food first. So Mina thinks that Mark might be sleeping with Kamala Harris.
I feel like the producer saw that and they asked me, like, do you know that? She said no, and then they're like, all right, well, when you look at the photo and like freak out and say, question who the fuck that is.
Is it possible for someone not to know who Kamala Harris is?
Well, you're not even pronouncing your name right, so yeah, it is possible.
I mean, how is that possible? Even if you don't live here, I feel like you would know that she was the black president or vice president.
You mean the vice president?
She was something. Like, how would you know that?
Because in Europe they don't really show American news.
It's just
But
like there
Was
are gonna be certain like really big news events, like when South Korea got their first female president a handful of years ago.
Mhm.
Not the whole world knew about it, and by the time they knew about it, she was in jail. So
And then
Yeah.
in not to start making excuses for Mina, but in the photo, wasn't Kamala wearing a mask?
yeah, she was wearing
Yeah,
a
she
mask.
was.
She
Yeah.
was, but I still could tell.
Mhm.
Still could tell. But I mean, she's from France, right? So I guess like,
I
she
mean,
Ignorance is a true bliss there.
she's probably too ditzy to turn on MSNBC.
I feel like in order to get a green card, they should make you name the last 3 presidents.
They
Right?
do for the citizenship test, right?
Mm.
I don't know. Do they? I feel like you should know like at least the last 3 presidents. Well, she wasn't the president, so I guess she wouldn't be on there anyway. But like I feel like you
Mhm.
should know a little bit about the country you're moving to, right? Like you should know something. You should be able to recognize a leader,
Mhm.
a lineup, right?
I guess, but again, you're Mr. Not into politics, so.
I'm not, but I know who she is. I
Mhm.
know that she was the vice president for Joe Biden. Like I know that. I know like I think our vice president now's name is JD something. Like I know stuff. I just don't
Yeah.
care,
Do
right?
you know the memes about him allegedly fucking a couch?
What? No.
But it's more of like a goof meme. Like it's just a meme to goof on him.
But
Really?
that meme is way more famous than Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
I've
him being a
never
couch fucker is like a popular meme.
Where did it start? Now I've never heard this. Now I'm curious. Well, how did that start?
I feel like that's a good question for Chat GPT, but I don't know where it started, but it was just the way people, it was the way for people to troll him during the election.
Oh, I
I,
mean,
I mean, I don't know if it was built on like a cookie crumble of information that turned into a wild story. I don't know.
Basically,
I'm,
like somebody edited his Wikipedia page to be like JD Vance, currents, blah 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 blah. Blah. Also, once got like caught in between his cushions of his couch and couldn't get out. And then like that sort of thing came out, and then he went on all the news getting interviewed about, do you like fucking couches? And then he tried to fight back, being like, only if I wear a condom. But like it didn't help.
they legit asked him those questions on the news.
Yeah.
I just need to watch the news. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Funny story. So when I lived in Ohio, he had a field office. It was next door to a place that I was working. And I went to a restaurant that was in between where I was and his field office, and he was in there. And I knew he was somebody because people were like excited that he was in there. I don't know what he did in Ohio, maybe like a senator, maybe
Mhm.
that you're asking too much. But I don't know. But I remember meeting him a few times because we would go at that restaurant a lot, and he was a really strange person.
Mhm.
So like now that he's like the vice president, I think it's hilarious because I was like, he was strange. So when you brought up the couch thing, I was like, see, I always knew that dude was strange. I always knew, but it's a rumor, but it's a joke. But I was just like, he was so weird because I remember he would order at the same restaurant as me because his field office was literally like next door, and I would see him regularly, and he was always weird.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. And then, not to turn this into a political show, but and then you know how like a lot of right wing people are like anti-immigrant, but then he has like an Indian wife.
Oh well, Trump has an immigrant wife too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hypocrisy there, but let's not turn this into a political show.
Well, we can't have that hypocrisy. We're literally talking about 90 Day Fiancé where everyone has an immigrant somebody. So
Yeah,
we definitely are not in that boat because we clearly watch a show that glorifies it. So we're definitely not one of those people.
true. All right, who else? Let me pull up my live tweets and see what else we haven't talked about, if anything. Um, let's see. Oh, I guess that was most of my tweets. Do
You
you?
didn't tweet much.
Yeah, I didn't, because there wasn't much going on, and it took me forever to get through the episode, which says it wasn't Tom Cruise-esque.
No, it wasn't a Tom Cruise episode at all. It was definitely not. And again, this episode, it just repeated Mahdi and Stevie's storyline from the past 3 episodes about her being bi. Like it literally has no new developments whatsoever. So it was really difficult for me. Oh, and I tweeted out that Greg took Joan to Times Square, and I said that that was basic. Do you think it's basic to take somebody to Times Square? I feel like that's basic. That's like
Mhm.
if someone goes to Orlando and you take them to Disney World, that's kind of basic, right? Or no? How do y'all feel about that?
I feel like I feel like for the, because I feel like for the TV show, this is probably isn't what you're expecting me to say, but for the sake of the TV show, I feel like it was basic. Yes, like it's kind of cliche.
For somebody who lives there or so close to
Mhm.
there and they go there all the time, usually when I go places, and it'll be a popular city, Like I've been to Nashville. I have friends in Nashville, and they'll take me out. They don't take me. I don't remember the name of the street now. It's a really popular street in Nashville where everyone goes. They don't take me there. They take me to like the local spots that
Mhm.
nobody else knows.
Yeah, like so you know, I don't know if this is a good analogy, but like in Vegas, like there's Vegas and then there's the Strip and then there's New York City and there's Times Square. But then if you really want to have a pop in good time, to me in Vegas, I would prefer to go like Fremont Street. So to me,
Right.
it's
Yes.
like so
Right.
like the Times Square is the equivalent of the Strip, but I don't really like hanging out at the Strip. So yeah.
I know. I feel the same way. I feel like the Strip is so commercialized and basic and stupid, and they got the little
Mhm.
stupid girls walking around trying to get you to take a picture for $500. Like it's so
Yeah.
stupid, right? And it's
Mhm.
I think it's more of like, okay, you do it once and you don't like if I was to go to New York again, I wouldn't go to Times Square again. I've already seen it. So I'm good. I don't need to see it again. Same with Statue of
well,
Liberty.
I'll go there as a tourist every time, but like if I'm there and I'm there with like a local, the local is because when people would go to Cleveland when I was there, I wouldn't take them to the flats because that was basic. That's where everybody who was visiting would go. Just like in Orlando, you don't take them to Disney. That's where everyone's gonna go. You take them to the like hole in
Mhm.
the wall, weird stuff that no one knows
Yeah.
about, that the locals know about. So I felt like, oh, he's a local. He's being really basic taking her to Times Square. But I mean, she's from Uganda. This is probably something she's seen in movies. So I get it. I get like the nostalgia of seeing something that you saw on TV a million times and you're standing there. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the producers were the ones that were like, yeah, let's do a shot in you in Times Squares.
Hey, maybe production paid for the hotel and the fake candles and the dollar pizza.
Hmm.
They're not supposed to, but that can be worked out. Like if you really can't afford something and because they have a shooting schedule, right? Like you're supposed to shoot between this date and this date, and that's when they're going to be there. So like if something was to happen and you can't, you can have them expense it, but you have to remember at the end of the day, they're going to subtract that from your check at the end.
Hmm.
So you can't really get the producers to pay. Cause there was a chick on the show back in the day. Her name was Stephanie. She was from Detroit, and she tried to get them to pay for a trip and some plane tickets and everything. And she even went as far as to get a lawyer and try to sue them. And they weren't paying for it because in the contract it says that this is a reality TV. We are a tag along. Whatever you're already doing, we're gonna tag along. And she tried.
You
Hmm.
have to cover all your expenses or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. So, and she lost. She wasn't able to get her money. So, yeah, a lot of people think, oh, well, I remember I knew one of the teen moms back in the day, and she said that they were out at a restaurant filming, and she went to pay, and her card declined, and the producers wouldn't pay the bill. She had to call her mom to come pay the bill. And I was like, that's wild. They pay you $40,000 an episode, but they wouldn't just swipe their damn card to pay for your food. You had to call somebody up. That's ridiculous, but it's in the contract that they can't do it.
Hmm. I wonder, is it okay? Here's a random question. Is it, let's say it's like a 90-day person and it's not their first season, so they're kind of like famous off the show. And let's say they're, I don't know, they're broke or something, they left their wallet. Like, are they allowed to stop a fan and say, hey, super fan of mine, can you like pay for my hotel room?
I mean, yeah, if they can get somebody to do it, yeah, they're allowed as long as production doesn't pay for it. Production will pay for it if they really, really have to, if it's gonna like impede the process or cause them to stay longer, but they're gonna subtract it as an expense at the end. So say you're gonna get a $50,000 check at the end of the season for all of your episodes, they're gonna subtract your expenses out of it.
True. Jenny, anything you want to talk about before I know it's late for most of us now, but Jenny might have fell asleep. No.
I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't watch the episode, but it really sounds like there
Mm.
was no point. Once again, 90 Day.
Yeah, again, like they always try to shove things in the last 30 seconds or like cliffhangers, or you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see that. But then the whole rest of the episode was a bore.
How many more episodes do we got until the end?
That's a
Well,
good
last
question.
year I was telling George, last year was how many episodes, George, did I tell you? It was
23? Wasn't it
So
23 with the tell all?
hold on.
I don't know, but then yeah, they're gonna.
Last season was 18 episodes with 2 tell-all episodes, and we're only on episode 12.
Yeah, we have a long way to go, I think.
Oh no. Sorry,
God.
everybody.
But
Wow.
but I think they yeah, if I recall correctly, they did film the tell-all already.
They did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because they were all in New York like several weeks ago.
It was very early on in the season, actually. They don't usually do it that early.
That's so boring. They're like, let's end it.
They are boring.
I really hope they don't, with the last resort, they span it out to 5 parts, and it was disappointing. So I know it's like they have all this footage and they're trying to, obviously milk it for all the money they can, because if they put it into 1 or 2 episodes, there's less money than a 5-parter, but they really should consider quality over quantity of episodes for once.
It's all about the Benjamins.
Mhm.
I was gonna I forget where we were talking about this last episode, or maybe on our Patreon chat or something. Weren't we talking about farts during sex?
I don't know why. Do you have a
No, but
story?
I can see where this is going, Jenny. You have a story.
Well, we
I
were
just
talking on the last episode, we were talking about the strip club reviews, and the guy said that the stripper was twerking in his face and farted in his face.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's what we were talking about. And then
That's right.
yeah.
So I have never been farted by a stripper in my face, unfortunately.
Same.
But I did have a funny fart related story I wanted to
I
share.
told you I knew that where this was going already.
Well, you have a floor, my dear.
A fart related story. This is going somewhere.
It's adjacent. Okay, so I was in a very serious relationship. I was living with this man. We're in our 30s. And you get into a routine when you're in routine relationship sex. You sort of have this is sort of what we do, this is sort of how we initiate, and this is kind of what we do, and maybe we finish in 2 or 3 different usual positions.
Okay.
Right? He's usually pulling out and finishing on the stomach, usually pulling out and finishing on the back, or pulling out and finishing on the ass, or whatever. There's a few set ways, yeah.
Mhm.
So this is a very comfortable everyday sex, and at this point I was on my hands and knees, so we're doing doggy style, and he was on his knees too on the bed, and we're just so comfortable, and he's so comfortable that as he came, I think all his muscles relaxed just so comfortably that he was like, and then
And then farted.
just like at the
Poof.
same time. Oh my god, I died because he immediately froze. He was like, oh
He
shit,
came from both ends.
from both ends, and then I froze. He froze. I look at him. He looks at me, and both start laughing.
Mm.
Oh my god! So I have never, I guess, up until that point, been come on and farted on at the same time.
So wait, you just
There's a
laughed?
first
Like,
for everything, dear.
so y'all just laughed it off. Like,
I mean, what else could you do, right?
I don't know. I would have immediately ran away and never spoke to you again. So the fact that y'all laughed it off is really mature, right?
We live together.
Oh, so you were like, well, we can't just break up and kick each other out of that.
It wasn't a
No.
hookup.
This was like we were engaged, we were living together. Now, but I will be honest, if that fart was wet, I might be having a change of heart.
You mean if it was a shart?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is, George? A shart?
It's a fart, but it's not a fart.
It's like a shit and a fart combo.
It's a don't trust your fart.
Yeah.
I know. So I don't know. That's crazy that y'all were able to overcome that. Like, how was dinner the next day?
Oh, we never really like talked about it
Never
again.
talked about it, so it just
Yeah.
it never was
Just
a
lingered.
Well, it was laughed about amongst me and my girlfriends for years and years and years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but like you and him never actually discussed it.
No, I think we've also done like more gross things to each other at that point. This is like a very serious relationship. But I feel like actually when a girl's really relaxed and like coming, she probably could fart at the same time too. I could totally see that.
True. So why aren't so what? You probably talked about this guy in the past. Like, what? How did that culminate?
Oh, I don't know if I have. This is a
Uh,
guy that I met when I was 27. I had just moved back from living in England for a couple years. He's from Toronto. I'm from Toronto. We met on Tinder or Bumble or something like that. So we dated for about 3 months before moving in together.
mm,
Um, and then I told him, well, if you want to get serious with me, we have to travel together and live together. So now that we live together, let's travel. So then we did the whole PCH driving trip. So we went from Napa Valley down to LA. So we drove that. And then we got engaged a year into it, moved to Argentina together, moved back. And then 2 years into the relationship, when we were talking about like, okay, well, I'm 30 at the time. I was like, I'm 30 now, you're 34. I think it's a good time for us to start trying. I can go off the pill, yada yada yada. And then he was like, "Oh, psych, I I've been kind of lying to you about that the whole time. I don't actually want kids, but like we can
mm-hmm,
talk about it like in 5, 10 years or so."
Wait, what?
Yeah,
You're
and I was like, "I'm 30." And he's like,
mm-hmm,
"Yeah, we'll talk about it in like 5, 10 years. I just want to like have a life first."
mm-hmm.
Oh,
So I was like, cool, 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 bye. Now, there were a lot of other things that were wrong with the relationship. Like, I ended up finding out a year into it that he was racist, and like a
Uh,
wait.
bunch of other things. We went through like a whole year of prenup negotiations. Like, it was a whole thing.
like what? He was a white Canadian or what?
Yeah, Italian Canadian.
Okay.
Wait. You were about to marry him
Yeah.
and you didn't even know he was a racist? Like, what
Well,
type of racist? Like, all around racist or just like a racist against certain people?
that's the thing. So I'm Asian, and I know we live in Toronto. Toronto's a big city, but still not really. It's like 4 to 7 million. And the white guy Asian girl couple is very common.
Mm-hmm.
It's very trendy. Everyone's doing it. Um, and so yeah, we were gonna get married. Sorry, what was your first question again, George?
Well,
How do we meet?
what type of racist are we talking? Like,
Oh, the racism. Yes. Okay, so when we dated, I obviously thought this guy's obviously not a racist because he's dating me. That's
right?
like step number one. And he's meeting all my friends, and I have friends of all different kinds, and you know, he knows people of all different kinds. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. Normal Canadian guy, obviously not racist. And then we were living together during 2016 when we had the TV on basically at all times. And he had this was during all the bombings in Syria.
Oh,
And
oh no.
so I'm just like watching it and being like, wow, this is so fucked. And he's walking by the TV being like, why can't we just blanket bomb the place? Like, just start over. Who cares? And he walked off.
what? So he just drops this huge racist bomb and just walks away?
Right. And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What? What do you mean? And then I said, would you say that about England, Finland, Switzerland, Australia?
Italy?
Yeah. Like, is it because they're brown? Is it
Mm-hmm.
because like what is your reasoning? And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's too late for them now. And I was like, oh my. I learned that, but then I at the same time was like, okay, we're getting married. Like he's gonna learn about my culture. He's
No,
gonna become more
still
empathetic.
No,
you were
that's a
still
red
considering
flag.
Mm-hmm.
you were
Guys,
gonna
I was young. I
marry
was
him?
young. I
Weren't
was I was
young, honey. You were 30. You weren't
I was
young.
I was still in my I can save a hoe phase, and
Okay.
I learned obviously you can't save nobody. And
You
so
can't save
after we
nobody
broke
that
up,
don't want to be saved. You can't save nobody that don't want to be saved.
yeah, after we broke up, I sent emails to all of his parents on my own, just thanking them for opening their arms and their families to me for the past couple of years. And And then he went on I blocked him right away, but my friends told me he went on to date a girl that looks just like me, like 10 years younger. And took her to all the exact same trips that we went on, like to like Cartagena, to like all the same places we went on. He took her there and took all the same pictures.
What? Are you
Wow.
He had to update the photos.
That's
He
crazy.
sounded like an asshole, but
Right?
Yeah, and
because there's no replacing our Jenny from Toronto.
he also farted on you. So
Yeah, he's like
Jenny from the T dot.
he's like yeah, and he's walking by the TV and there's some like bombing in Syria. He's like, yeah, let's bomb him like I bombed Jenny with my fart.
Oh, if I was like a really, really mean person, I would go on the Toronto chapter of the Are We Dating the Same Guy on Facebook and post his pictures and be like, he farts. But I'm not going to because I'm a nice person and I hope
Can I do it? I'll do it.
No.
oh, you're talking about that "Don't Date Him" girl thing. I remember that. It was in a movie.
You can post it anonymously, can't you?
Yeah, you could. No, I don't wish harm on any of my exes. I don't have anything like super negative with any of them.
Oh, I'm just petty.
Girl,
True.
I am totally petty LaBelle at times.
Hey, if you know, my DMs are always open. I can always do it for you. Revenge is bittersweet.
Oh, I also gotta tell you guys maybe another time about the time I had my first, I don't want to say it was a one night stand, but it was a 14 night stand I had in Costa Rica.
Oh,
Oh,
Did somebody
Like,
kidnap
sounds
you?
like Sankey Panky.
I'm confused. Did somebody kidnap you? Why was it a 14?
no, I went down there on a solo find myself trip for 14
It-
days.
Yeah,
it
sounds
was
like
an eat,
Sankey
pray,
Panky.
love type of thing.
Yeah, it was very eat, pray, lovish. I was like taking surf lessons. I rented a quad by myself. I speak Spanish, so like I was getting around. And then I met a guy, and then we
You
had a
got
whole
around.
thing.
That's all right. Yeah.
I gotta tell you guys a whole story because at the very, very end, there's a big twist.
Oh, that feel
Oh.
yeah. We would have. I would want to hear the whole story instead of
Yeah,
just
me too.
Oh, okay. So you said Cartagena?
No, this was in Costa Rica.
Oh, Costa Rica. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll save that for like a big Friday episode or something.
Yeah, when we're all drinking or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Fun.
before we ended, like I wanted to mention like the Triple X Beast news. So Jenny, you were disappointed by his occupation?
Yeah, I mean, Navy.
Mhm. The only I mentioned it in our member group chat where if you're a listener you could join us on Patreon. But anyway, the couple of things I mentioned on there was one, it made sense if his home base, quote unquote, was like a Hawaii because that's like obviously like a naval base. So that part made sense, and then the other part that made sense, it was like a tell because he had one of the initial strip club reviews that were, though it was hilarious, but then it had a line in there that made us kind of cringe a little because it was like referencing like disabled veterans, but it was weird. I mean, it was a funny review overall, but he had this one weird line about disabled veterans. So then the fact that he's a serviceman, military guy, who have now kind of made a little bit more sense why he threw that reference in there.
Yeah. Americans get very I don't want to say testy about being veterans, but very loud about it. I think if anyone's a veteran, they say so.
Yeah. Well, then there's people that do stolen valor and they pretend like they're veterans, but
Oh, that's bullshit.
yeah, but anyways, George or Gina or anyone else, did you have any like triple X Beast afterthoughts?
Well,
I was really surprised at his occupation.
Mhm.
I think I told you in the group chat why I thought I said that, right? Did you
yeah.
remember? I was just, I don't know. If anything, I wouldn't have thought the Navy. I would have thought the military or whatever. But it threw me off. It's very interesting though. It makes sense because he's from Hawaii. He's from an island. It makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know. It's not what I was expecting. I would have thought the Air Force. I don't know.
But he could
True.
have like a Navy like Department of IT or something.
Well, I said, what was it? A recruitment for the Navy. That's why he goes to all these places,
Mhm.
right? Well, I didn't say that after it came out. I said that because Captain was just like, no way. And then I'm like, well, it could be a Navy recruitment officer. And she's just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I know one of our other like super fan listeners, Anush. She was saying like I'm not saying it was a complaint, but she was saying like we definitely like she was listening back and she was like y'all were I don't remember exact words, so I'm probably like making it sound worse than what she told me, but she was saying like y'all were dragging it out, like I was dying to know, but you kept going on and on before I got to figure out what the fuck his job was.
No, it did. I felt the same way. I felt
Mhm.
like it got dragged out, and I was like, "What is it? What is it? What
Mhm.
is it?" But
Yeah, I don't know. I
What
was no, I was just going with the flow. I just didn't want to. You know what I mean. Like I didn't want to find out too quick, but I figured it better. It was better to like. I felt like it was better to drag it out than like have it up front.
this is how it's done. If you've ever watched American Idol or The
Mhm.
Masked Singer, the show is 2 hours long, and they're not going to tell you who won until the last 13 seconds of the show, right before it goes off the air. So that's just how it's done, unfortunately.
Yeah,
exactly.
at least we didn't do like a 5 part. We'll tell you one, a little bit, and then on the fifth episode later, we'll tell you what it really does.
Oh my God, can you imagine if we left them hanging? Oh, yeah, I bet.
Oh, yo, you know
Oh
what would have been
God.
hilarious? No, imagine this, you, George. I should have thought of this. You know what would have been fucked up? If we did the show Friday, 3.5 hours, and we got all the way to the end, right? And then I was like, this is the final strip club review from Triple X Beast where we find out what he is. And I read like the first like 5 words. Blah blah blah, these girls are, and then I just like hit end podcast, end broadcast, and we disconnect.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's kind of
Why? Oh God.
or like
Mhm,
back
Yeah.
in the day on the radio, and we're like, we ran out of time.
mhm.
We'll be back. Like, and you end the
Join us Sunday.
Yeah. No, it'd be funnier. Feel like it'd have been funnier without even saying like we ran out of time. If I just like totally, I mean, if I just like totally ended it or like cropped out the part.
well, yeah. And then afterward, post on Twitter, be like, "What did you guys think of the announcement for his job?" Even though you didn't say it. And then like troll people and be like, "What are your thoughts on the announcement?" And
Mhm.
like piss people off even more. Like I totally.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like in the future, not it wouldn't necessarily be a stripper review, but I feel like in the future, if we have like some kind of news, it'd be funny to like tease it, and then just like cut the show off without saying what the news was or something.
You can't be telling out your plans,
I
Shabooty.
know. Well, stay
Go,
tuned.
go.
But I purposely didn't. But I'm one of those people where it's like if I have tea and you peer pressure me, I'll like probably tell you that same day. That's why I purposely didn't know from Gina because I would have probably told people.
Yeah,
Oh,
you would have.
I could have known. I keep secrets. I have no secrets now that could cause World War IV. Like I keep
Mhm.
secrets, right? Like I know everything, and I keep secrets. So Gina, if you were wondering, you can tell me anything, and nobody will.
Oh,
True.
I know that, but I
I
wanted to.
know who framed Roger Rabbit. Like I know everything. Like I know all of the secrets.
I
Okay, I
needed to
know
see
where
it.
Carmen San Diego was. Like I
Yeah,
know it.
you know where the bodies are buried.
Yes, I do. I know the
I
dimensions and the longitude and longitude. I know all of it, and I don't tell anybody nothing. I don't.
Mhm.
honestly, I could have told you. I could have told other people as well. But then, what would be the point? Like, because then on
Mhm.
Friday you were just as a shock value as everybody else was.
Do you not even know me, Gina? 90% of my reactions are me pretending to be surprised that news I already knew. When Shabooty announced last week that Gino was filming The Single Life, I knew that 4 months ago.
Oh, I know you knew
But
that.
did
Oh,
you
I mean,
notice?
I no, I mean, I knew that when he was filmed in Vegas too, but
Yeah, I knew that, but did you notice that I act super surprised?
mhm.
That's 90% of my reactions are me pretending to be surprised at things that I already knew.
But I did not want it to be fake.
Mhm.
Nobody can tell when I'm being real or not, though. Can y'all tell? Well, can y'all tell when if I'm surprised or faking or not?
No, you're pretty good at like always being surprised
Yes,
all the
you are.
time, even
Yeah,
though
like
you may not be.
I know stuff before anybody else ever will, right? Like I knew Jasmine was pregnant in November. Like I know everything. But
I know you know
when
everything.
we announced it, I made sure it seemed like everybody was like learning about it with us. I just made sure it felt that way, but they weren't. I knew that shit already.
How do you keep it in? Because I'm like Shabooty. I
Mhm.
cannot keep a secret. If you get 2, 3, 4 drinks in me, it's all out.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I have like a few, no, I have like two best friends that are also crypt keepers. So like they can keep water. So like whenever I have information, me and my best friend will talk about it because they also keep like they're crypt keepers. They keep the information safe. So I have somebody that I can blab to that I know the information will never go anywhere. But
Mhm.
I just don't tell anyone else. I have to tell one person. So like whenever something happens, I immediately call my best friend and I'm like, I have to tell you this.
Uh,
And
you're
but
right.
yeah,
My two chihuahuas know too much.
yes, but I know, and it's vice versa. We do the same with each other. And if there's something that they need to tell me, they're like, I need to tell somebody, and they know that they can tell me.
Yeah, well,
I
the
told
only
two of my coworkers. I told two of my coworkers. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" And I told them, they're like, "What? You review strip club reviews? What the fuck is wrong with you?"
true, like the
Like,
only secrets, the only person's secrets I like shockingly have been pretty good about is like keeping Liz's secrets.
Oh, I had secrets of Liz's that I didn't tell you.
I mean, I'm sure, but I'm just saying the things
I
she's
think
told
you
me.
know them now. Like I
Yeah,
knew that Liz and Jay broke up like 7 months before
yeah,
you,
you definitely knew before me,
and
and
I kept her secrets, and that
quick.
was hard too because I know that you love her and everything. So that was hard. I kept her secrets, and I have a few secrets of hers right now that I'm keeping actually.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, though, let me just say one thing, George. Like, just know that your boy Shabooty has. I've been more loyal to you than some of these 90-day people.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And
Mhm.
I would tell you if
Yeah,
like I would tell you now.
true.
Like I think in the beginning, people used to be like, "Oh, Shabooty can't hold water," and then you just said that. But at the end of the day, I feel like if I told you something and I told you you can't tell anyone, I 100% believe that you wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like if I told you, because there are times when I'll tell you something and I'll be like, I don't care if you say anything or not. Just don't
Mhm.
heard it from me. Like I do that too sometimes. But like
Yeah.
sometimes when I have information, I can't leak it. But sometimes I'll just be like, I don't care if you say anything. Just don't you heard it from me. I don't care.
Yeah, like as far as like just generally speaking, the mistake I make sometimes as far as like not spilling, well, it's not even a mistake, but like what I do sometimes is if I have tea and I want to post it, what I'll do, so like what the it's not even an issue because it's like tea I'm gonna post anyway, but like what happens though is like I'll go on Instagram stories and say, hey, I have this tea, like I may save it for Friday on the podcast or I may save it for a few days later. But if I tease it on like Instagram, then I get like then everyone blows me up, like
what
blows
is
up
it?
the
What is
DM.
it? What is it? What is it? What
Yeah,
is it?
like
What
you
is
post
it?
it now, right now. I don't want to wait till Friday. So then when that happens, I'm like, all right, fuck it. I might as well post it today. That's the part I'm like, that's the part where I like, I can't hold it in. But that's the stuff that I'm gonna put out anyway. That's not like a real. That's more of just like
You
my own
know
things I'm
what?
about to post, as opposed to real
You
like hidden
should
tea.
you should do the Patreon tea.
Hmm.
Some people do that where the people who are on the Patreon they get the tea before the people who are not.
Yeah.
That way you can like drop the tea early if you need to. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people do that. Like I did a podcast with somebody and they put the podcast on their Patreon first for
Hmm.
their fans that paid. And then after like a couple weeks, we released it for everybody. So like, yeah, you can tease the tea, and then the people who really want it that are paying extra to get it, give it to them.
Hmm. And then, so what's the deal? You're doing a like, what's it called? True crime mysteries podcast.
Yeah, I am actually. I'm gonna do. I'm
Oh,
behind. I was supposed to record it last week,
Hmm.
but we ran into some issues with picking the best story for the first episode. So
Hmm.
we're narrowing it down now for the episode 1 of True Crime It's called Murders and Mayhem. And we were between Murders and Cocktails and Murders and Mayhem, and I think we landed on Murders and Mayhem. I like them both.
Oh my God, George, can I one day please be a guest? Because I am obsessed with true crime podcasts.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And actually, I would love to get everybody involved. Like Shabooty, if you want to come on and talk about it, because there's been some true crime stuff that happened in the 90-day sector.
Well, on our podcast, we had Lana's true crime story.
Yeah. So I would love to get everybody involved if anybody wants to come on. And because you remember the one guy, Jay, when he worked at that barbershop, the two guys that worked at the barbershop, one murdered the other.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Jay.
I did not know that.
Did you not? Yeah, I can't remember the girl's name. It was a really, really pretty white girl. It was Jay.
Yeah.
And he was, I think, from the Dominican Republic.
I thought he was from Jamaica.
Oh, is he from Jamaica? I thought it was the Dominican. And he was living with her. Damn, I can't remember her name for the life of me now.
Hold on, I'll look it up quickly.
And by the way, Lana, I gave you speaking privileges if you want to hop in.
Ashley, yes, Pineapple Girl, Ashley, and he was Jamaican. Yeah, so maybe on the true crime, we'll do like a true crime, and we'll do like a 90-day crossover, and we'll kind of get into that case. And if y'all remember correctly, the guy who murdered him was on the run for years. So yeah, that will be like a fun little crossover that we can kind of mix the two podcasts together. I think the listeners might like that.
True. And Lana, you could talk if you'd like.
Hey, Lana.
Hey, Lana.
And then after Lana, she says, sorry, Lana says she has a cough.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
feel better, Lana.
Jenny, feel better, Lana. Now, Jenny, are you feeling better? Because I know you were under the weather as well.
Yeah, some kind of cough coming and going, but I'm mostly indoors, so keeping other people's germs away from me.
Well, you sounded good tonight with your farting story. One day, if we had a budget, we could get someone to animate that story for us. Just kidding.
Oh,
we'll just get ChatGPT to do it.
Yeah, I don't know where we would host that. I don't know where we would host that video, but yeah.
Yeah, that's not something you can post everywhere. But yeah, that so yeah, I'll let you guys know when we'll do the 90-day crossover one, and maybe we can all we can record it on here, and we can just post it in both places, because I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, George. You're actually liking Zoom. I'm sorry. What? This is a first.
When did I say that? I didn't say that. I don't remember saying that at all. I just said with the crossover, it might be easier for all of us to be here. That's all I said. Sometimes things are easier. It doesn't make them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it would be easier to rob a bank than go to work every day, but it's not the right thing to do, right?
That's Mr. Mariah Carey to you.
It's not always the right thing to do. It might be the easiest option, but it's not always the right thing to do.
I'm just messing with you.
True. All right. Any other things for the order?
Oh yeah. So Aaliyah's getting her bottom surgery, or what she was talking about it tonight, which was kind of weird because Sean is like pissed off about it, and this whole storyline is really.
That made me think of something good. Like here's a tell. The fact that Aaliyah didn't even remember the doctor's name proves that she's not taking it that seriously.
Oh, for real? I mean, I do know my doctor's name. Like when I was going to the specialist, when they thought that I had like something really like fatal or whatever, but I didn't always remember the specialist name because I was going to a different specialist every week. But like my doctor, I did know their name.
I just feel like a lot of, because I know this from listening to the Howard Stern show, but those, like a lot of people are looking to get the surgery or whatever. That's like, it is like a huge deal for them, and they'll do their research and they'll find a doctor. But like it's a huge deal so the idea of like not knowing the doctor's name that you're looking to meet about that kind of surgery is like, to me, it means she's not taking it that seriously.
I'll see, that makes more sense when you said it like that, because you're right. When you're doing something like a transition surgery, you're right. They research and analyze the doctor. They look up reviews. They talk to people that have been to that doctor. they scour the internet for any negative information, right? Because this is life-changing. If you do this wrong, or if the surgery is not done correctly, it could destroy your life, like your body. So yeah, you're right. That is something that you would look into. You don't just open the yellow pages and whatever name your finger points at, that's the person who's going to do your transition. You're right. That is not, they look at it much more in depth than that. So that is actually really.
Yeah, I'm
Yellow
wondering if
Pages. When was the last time you got open at Yellow Pages?
Well,
but,
I don't know what else you would call it. Like Yelp, I guess you would open Yelp.
I don't know, but no, but
Yeah.
I feel like that meeting with the doctor, maybe the producers set that up. Oh well.
Yeah, I think that they're rushing through the transition for the show. Also, Gina, I want to do a little fun fact. This is going to be really fun, guys. So when I was 10, I lived in Louisiana, and my first job ever was delivering phone books.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I delivered phone books. So my mom loaded them in the car, and she would drive down the street, and I would take them and toss them into the yards of the houses.
I feel like that sounds like what Triple X Beast's first job would be.
Right. I was strong. I don't know if y'all know how heavy phone books were back in the day. And
They were heavy.
so I would carry like 2 in each hand so I could like go to the next 4 houses. And then you would toss them. So yeah, I was a pretty strong 10-year-old. And yeah, I think if you deliver like 200 or 300 of them, you got like $50. That was like my first job. So that's how I know what a phone book is, because I didn't know what they were or why you needed them, but I knew that I could get paid for it. So at like 10, I was doing that.
True.
Oh, I know what they are. It's just like, wow, going through the phone book, finding a doctor, ordering pizza.
I Am Jazz. I did watch some of I Am Jazz, Pineapple Girl. She was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That show, does it still come on? I don't remember now. I
don't know.
Gained a bunch of weight and then she lost it again. I remember that, and that's the last I saw of her. I think she had the bottom surgery, right? Jazz? I'm pretty sure she did.
I don't know, but well, you know what annoys me is that there's like that Lifetime thing where it's called like Life After Lockup, right? Or isn't there like what's the do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hold on, let me pull up a text I got the other day. 1 second.
Are you talking about Lalu, Life After Lockup?
Yeah, like Life After Lockup, but
that's the show on the WE or WeTV, right?
No, it's like on Lifetime.
What?
Yeah, it's on Discovery Plus.
No, there's life. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's a Life After Lockup on a Lifetime, and it annoys me because it's not Love After Lockup. So when somebody tells me they watched I'm getting all confused. When people tell me they watched Life After Lockup, I get excited thinking they watched Love After Lockup, but it's totally different and it's on Lifetime.
Oh, boring.
Life After Lockup, and it's on Lifetime. Well, huh. I've never heard of it.
I think it's so. That's basically just the name of the Gypsy Rose show.
Oh, it's the Gypsy Rose show. Okay, I got you. So it's nothing like Life or Love After Lockup.
Yeah, because like the other day, somebody in my, I was excited because they told me they watched Life After Lockup, and I was all excited. Oh, are you in the fold? Are you into the fold of our shows, which is Love After Lockup? But then they're like, no, it's the Lifetime show. And then if you Google it, it's like I think it's a Gypsy Rose show.
Oh, they should just call it Gypsy Rose. It's confusing to use that term. And actually, you know who's friends with her in real life? Scott.
Well, Scott just does a thing where he tags people since he's verified and has a lot of followers, and then they respond to him.
If she was friends with him, and she said yeah. So I don't know. But
yeah, they're probably like friends on Instagram type of thing.
Yeah, like Instagram friends. Because I messaged her and I was like, hey, are you cool with Scott Wern? And she's like, yeah, why? And I was just like, I was just asking. And
yeah, because he's such a he pretends like he does. He's another one of those guys that pretends like he doesn't care about the clout, but all he does is sits on like Instagram and tags like reality people, and eventually, since he's verified with a lot of followers, they're gonna like respond to his stories.
Did you see the guy from Boys to Men responded and posted him on his story or whatever?
No, but it's just he's just being but at the end of the day, he's a freaking schmuck. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was like, how do you know Gypsy Rose? I was like, that's crazy to me. Like she's like the biggest celebrity criminal, right? Like she's like huge. She's a huge deal. So I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we don't really talk about him anymore because he's bad.
We don't typically talk about him, but since we were talking about Gypsy, I was like, I'll bring that up.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like since it's 1:30 a.m. on a school night, we should end it probably.
Yeah, it's getting late. So that's it for episode. I think this was 12, right? Episode 12 of
Yeah.
11. There wasn't much to talk about, but we made the best of it.
True. Yeah. Thank you to George, Gina, Cocoa Puff in the chat. Thank you, Jenny. I love your stories. They never grow old for me. We want to hear your Costa Rica story. And Lana, feel better. Amberlee, Heather, JL, Laurie number 2, Laurie number 3. There's 3 Lauries that are listening live, but one spells it differently.
3 Lauries. Hey, Lauries.
Yeah.
Hey, Laurie.
And then Musina, that I may be pronouncing wrong. And then Pineapple Girl. And then Zoom user, which is probably Matt Sharp. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
We don't like the format, by the way. You got to make some changes and get a new casting director. Just throwing that in there.
True.
Take our advice. Trust us.
We wouldn't steer you wrong.
I'll send you my resume to be a producer.
Yeah, do it. We need somebody on the inside.
Yeah, and I can't wait to get pizza with Jenny in New York City.
Yeah. All right. Good night, y'all.
All right. Good night, everyone. This will be on Apple, Spotify tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.